Live to the chat, you mean? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Morning, everyone. This is episode 156. Yep. Chill is running a bit late, so you should be another 5 or 10 minutes. So we could just crap on for a while, as we'll probably do, or we may actually just start, dive into the news and then go back and record the intro and stuff. In fact, if we discuss what we're going to do for long enough, he'll just turn up and take it away from us. Let's see, what are we going to cover? What aren't we going to cover?
It's a long list.
There is. And basically, there may have been a live stream, which may have been organised by a prominent member of the community whose identity is carefully guarded. Now, because we don't do spoilers, we're actually not going to talk about that. But obviously it happened, and it's out there. So, yeah, and Red obviously was part of it. But anyway, that's that. What else? What else aren't we going to cover? Guild Conquest, because it's all going to come out tomorrow, no doubt, which means we'll be talking about that next week.
Yeah, and I was disappointed the achievements did not give much of anything away.
Yeah, and Bruce McLean, I walked up to him and he was saying something about it. I walked in just a little too late. He's like, "I'm not supposed to say that yet," and I walked up right as he was saying that. I was like, "Damn it!" I didn't get a chance to ask him after. He was pretty bombarded by people.
Now, with the achievement stuff, are we sure that they just haven't run like they're going to do a single pass over the database and grant all the decorations to people with the achievements? Or the system really is different to what we expected?
What do you mean?
As in, when you go into the PTS now, you have a bunch of achievements. Are we sure they're not granting the decorations?
They are giving the decorations.
Okay, so what's different when you're talking about the achievements? What about the achievements?
I was just totally... It was nothing like I expected. I thought that the achievements would give me something other than a wall hanging. And that's all they are. Also, they're
all of them?
And they're only flashpoints and operations. Nothing for PvP, nothing for GSF, nothing for world exploration, nothing for anything but flashpoints and operations.
I have to think that's going to change. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I went in last night and I didn't have much to put anywhere, but, you know, I had one wall hanging I could have put, and I put it kind of everywhere just for fun. But I don't know. It seems like they're not done yet. I don't know.
It looks like they're trying really hard to force you to go back and revisit old content, honestly. They're putting them on the bosses themselves instead.
As drops, yeah.
And the Datacron implementation for the objects in your house is really ridiculous. You actually have to go back out to Datacrons and harvest components and then take them to vendors and purchase them. And you have to do it more than once to get like the full tables and things like this. It's really crappy.
Getting Datacron Master actually gets you nothing?
Nothing. Not even a wall hanging.
I
looked for that explicitly.
I mean, I haven't messed with it yet, but the crafting seemed interesting. I listened to the Escape podcast today. They were talking about the crafting.
Yeah.
A bit. At least that seems to be something. But
it's something. I've dived into it. It's a great way to use up mats that are probably clogging up your cargo hub.
I got plenty of those.
Well, and that's the thing is... And pretty much every type of currency in the game has a vendor for you to spend that currency on to get items.
Yeah.
So that's nice, especially if you just don't need that currency anymore. You can actually use it on something.
Yeah.
Or you can pursue it again. So.
I guess we shouldn't talk too much about this, otherwise we'll forget and talk about it again during the show itself, or won't talk about it.
No, I'll be talking about
it. That's fine. Now, let's leave all PTS stuff until we get there, just as we talk through the news.
Okay.
It probably makes sense. Also, Manan experience. Did anyone go out to McKeb?
I didn't go out to Manan at all.
No, I just saw those show notes that you put in there about the McKeb thing. What the hell? Why are they making McKeb level you faster?
To get you to level 55.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
doing the whole planet gets you to 55 before you finish the planet anyway.
No. Well, unless they've changed something, the way it is now, you can maybe get 2 or 3 levels out of it.
Yeah, I found it the opposite. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I got to like 52, 53, something like that.
If you actually
Were you
started
popping those
immediately.
XP
I
boosts
guess
the whole
that's if you
time?
start at 50.
I guess it's true as a non-sub, and if you're not using the boosters, that might be true. I totally
No.
did. Because I had some of those things just sitting in my butt bags anyway.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I've got a ton saved. I might use that for 55 to
That's
60.
exactly what I'm saving them for.
No, I won't. Maybe one character or another. All right, Shield should be here any second now. Chat room, is there anything you'd like us to discuss? Any questions to throw in? Yeah, Ducach, I'm kind of with you. What the fuck? Not going to run Datacrons again for iterations.
Well, I asked 2 different devs about legacy Datacrons because I'm sick of it. I can't go after another Datacron again. And I've asked it at every single cantina I've been at. And I think that was my 6th one, and I'm just like, can we please have legacy Datacrons? Anyway.
I
Somebody
totally
just
understand
asked-
not having legacy Datacrons. I think it's absurd that you have to go back out there with a character that your max captain have already gotten the Datacrons on.
and get them.
Or a decoration.
So it's from the Datacron itself, you actually have to re-get the Datacron? I mean, you can't, so what are they doing to them? Where are you harvesting?
Touch it again?
I think you just go touch it again and it pops it into your bag.
Oh. This genius idea was that?
I don't
What
know.
the hell?
Idiocy.
I'm gonna have to try it now on the PTS just so I fully understand it.
With them saying that achievements were extensively tied into the prestige system, and that you would be getting rewards for every different way you like to play the game, I don't understand why the only place you're getting achievements is from PvE.
Do you think it's incomplete, like Marshall was suggesting? Do you think they just have left it out?
I'm going to mention that. I pray that that's the case. The thing is, in your show notes here somewhere, it said that. It says, rewards for flashpoints and achievement and operations. It doesn't say exclusively, but it says that, and it is nothing else. So,
All right.
many flashpoints and operation achievements now provide special trophy decorations that can be placed on the walls of your stronghold.
And that's great. Wall hangings.
Now, dude, I was flipping out on the test server because I was going through every single slot type on the floor and placing every single item once and just working my way through so that I could have one of everything on the ground. And when I finished and realized that I didn't have a single flashpoint operation or any kind of achievement, I was tripping. I was like, what the hell? Until finally I remember I was doing it out on the balcony, and then I went inside and realized, oh wait, there's hooks on the walls. Let me try those. And then I see this massive list, and I was like, oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I still think they should make it so you can put anything on any surface. I don't know, it'd be neat to put, lights on the ground and wall hangings on the ceiling or whatever, I don't know.
All right, if you've just joined us, we're waiting for Chill to arrive. He's suffering from heavy traffic in downtown Portland, Oregon. He's got a bad bus driver this month, apparently. The guy keeps getting lost or something.
Last time I was on this cast, he was late. He didn't show up till the end. Remember?
Yeah.
BioWare's warned the
It's on 150. Yeah.
Let me mute my phone.
Oh my god. Posters of all the goddamn Flashpoint bosses. Awesome.
The other interesting thing is that to get the wall decorations for hard mode flashpoints, you have to do that hard mode flashpoint 25 times. Get that max count achievement before you get it.
Well, I've certainly got that for Aethys. In fact, I probably got it for all of them. 25 though. Jeez.
I don't think I can do it.
Really? I don't have any over 10.
It's so many times.
I've done a lot of flashpoints.
Yeah, my flashpoint achievement is at 23%, I believe. And my operations is 37. So
that's surprising for you, Red.
Well, it's because I did all those achievements and everything pre 2.0 before there were achievements.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
right,
ton I need to go back and revisit. I realized because I was on the Harbinger and getting dragged through some ops and popping achievements all over the place, and I was like, "What the hell? I've done this a billion times." And I realized, oh, wow, I really just have not been revisiting old content.
we've had
chat room
times.
is funny.
Descartes is
He's not
not
happy
impressed
about
with the 25 thing. Yeah.
that.
Oh, Swotor Minor will be guesting on ToroCast
cool.
this weekend.
Cool.
Did they mention?
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm just trying to remember. I did listen to it this morning, and Rhodes said. But
I did too. I don't.
Right, Chill's here. He just can't get the invite. He's lost.
Rhodes was saying that anybody ever could always be on his show, but he's not going to invite them. If they want to come on the show, they just need to ask. It's like, that's not how it works, Rode. You invite someone onto your show. They're not going to, most people don't have the courage to just walk up to you and say, "Hey, I really like your show. Let me be on it."
Well, I saw from you, Red. I mean,
I pretty much did the same thing.
Most people.
Yeah, all right.
I did the same thing actually.
Actually, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
I did. I was throwing it out there because I was going to be at the cantina.
I knew there was a reason I liked Marshall.
Yeah, see? I don't mind. I'll talk to anybody. I don't care.
Great minds
So,
think
yeah. Pro tip, if you want to be on our podcast, just ask.
alike.
Ask nicely. Don't be rude. But yes.
Yeah.
Or bring it up in my live stream. That's where I harvest some people too.
Who lied? Who lied?
Who lied? What?
No, Minor
Oh,
maybe
okay.
a little. Or he's talking about someone in.
I was asked. Oh, I guess he was on Sunday. It just hasn't published yet. No, wait. They did
No,
theirs.
that was with the class rep. What's his face? The G guy.
Yeah.
Guitars. He was there.
Yeah.
He was on.
Which we slaughtered his team. I didn't know he was on the Bastion.
He was the guy. He was on ToroCast this last one, wasn't he?
Yes.
Guitars. Yeah. Okay.
With May and yeah.
Yep.
I was playing with a bunch of people that I finally started building community on my own server and meeting new people. And I was grouped up and doing PvP, and we went up against Gadars, and these people I was playing with started saying to him during the match, "And you're supposed to be the class rep? We're manhandling you."
Oh.
It was great.
Hi, Jill, and
Hey,
we
Jill.
are live, as you may notice.
Yeah.
We were gonna start the news or something, and then we just got the crapping on, and now you're here, so it's all good.
Okay.
Right, let's just do a quick random dot.
We're just
3.
entertaining the enemy. I mean, the chat room.
Well, I don't know if entertaining is the right word. We're filling. Oh yeah,
they're still
look at
there.
that.
Vamping.
Yeah, we're vamping.
With lots of vamping. Number 3 is the winner, that's Neptune.
Okay.
All right, I'll read the first. Well, crap. The first and third, as usual.
Sounds
and
good.
You can do the second. Everyone, start recording, please. We'll be ready to record. A bit loud. Testing.
Man.
Testing.
Marshall, you just always get the compliments every time you're on.
I know, right?
See that?
I'm alright with that.
Star Wars headset.
Test.
All
I
right.
also need to reset my sound levels.
Okay. Yeah, just check your headset. You've had a bit of bleed recently. I think we talked about that last time. All right, let me tweet the show, given that we're about to actually start for reals.
And let me retweet it for you.
1 second, please. Where did I stick it? It's up the top again. Right. Tweeted. Done. Okay. All right. Is everyone recording? Red, you good?
Yep, and I just retweeted.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good.
Chill, you're right. Marshall's right.
Yep.
All right. Let's get the show on the road. Not that road.
Alrighty. Going in let me delete. Yeah, Audacity's working fine. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast with enough power to destroy an entire planet. This is episode 156, being recorded on Wednesday, July 30th, 2014. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And with us today are Red and Marshall. So, Marshall, what you been up to?
Well, not much gaming, that's for sure. I spent the week at San Diego Comic-Con, so I haven't got much gaming in at all. But you'll hear more about that later on. I went to the community cantina and all that.
Cool.
I was kind of bummed I missed the Gree event, though. I'm very, very close to Legend, and it's gone.
Do you really want the vehicle, or?
I just, I see that I'm just close. I like having it maxed out. I got several of them maxed. I just like to see it full,
Nice.
And then with, Galactic Housing coming, I gotta start making credits. I have a good amount, but I must have to start doing dailies and selling some more MK9s and stuff like that.
Right.
I did get on the PTS last night for a little bit before I fell asleep. Still recovering. It was a long week. Late nights at Comic-Con. But I'll talk more about that later. But one thing I wanted to say is this is Star Wars related, not Swocho related, but I went to the Rebels panel in San Diego Comic-Con, and it was really cool. I was right in the front row. Dave Filoni, Freddie Prinze Jr., and the voice cast was there. It was really neat. Ran into Steve Sansweet there, the guy who runs Rancho Obi-Wan. Got to say hi to him. Got a signature and bought a book from Pablo Hidalgo, so that was cool. Got to meet him. He's one of the writers on Rebels as well, and
very cool.
And yeah, it was a really good week. But
did you see the pilot? Didn't they air it there?
Yeah, there was a new trailer. It was amazing. It was really cool. It's nice being in the room with with the voice actors, with the executive producers and that kind of thing, and seeing that kind of thing for the first time, and Twitter exploding when you send a tweet out about it. People are like, "Oh my God, I'm so jealous," and that kind of thing. It was pretty fun.
Do you think it's going to be as good as Clone Wars?
I think so. I'm actually really hoping my kids are into it, to be honest with you. Clone Wars is a little dark for them. They're 5 and 3. So I'm hoping Rebels is a little more kid-friendly. And from the looks of it, it is. I love the art style. I think it's going to be sweet.
Well, and even if they go dark, Clone Wars took a while to get that way. If they can grow up with it, then maybe you won't have a problem with it when it does.
I can only hope. I got to get them to watch something Star Wars before I go crazy.
That's right.
But that's pretty much my week. I did meet Felicia Day. That's a side note. I see her every year. They do an off-site event. If anybody's a fan of Felicia Day, that was pretty cool too. She did the Guild back in the day and all that. So anyway, just kind of rubbing it in, I guess. So I'm done.
That sounds like fun. All right, Red, how about your week?
Man, I tell you what, the Gree event took up a lot of time for me. I played a lot this week, actually, a lot more than I have in recent weeks. But I did want to start out by giving a shout out to Jedi Cal, because he totally gave me a tip about, that's at Jedi Cal. He notified me that apparently a while back the Imperial space missions had been repaired and were, I could finish getting all those achievements. So I now effectively have literally 100% done of the original space mission achievements.
Congratulations.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Congrats.
When I got that tweet, I dropped everything I was doing, switched characters, got on Imp side, and immediately did it. I was like, oh, yes. So that was great. But yeah, the Gree event, I did do some PvPing with people while I was on Ilum, because it was a little bit challenging to find friends that wanted to do it with me. They're not quite as dedicated to the achievements. But I was able to... I finished all of the PvP ones, and I had quite a few left. So I killed 100 imps as a pub, and I killed 100 pubs as an imp. and I killed 50 people carrying orbs. Didn't matter who or what you were on. And those are those were the only ones I had left. I think there were some others, but I'd finished them previously. And man, I tell you what, there were a lot of people getting upset with me and my friends. I was able to at least encourage them to do the open world PvP with me. And in fact, the Imp Guild I'm in, while I was killing pubs, I didn't realize that apparently there's a peace treaty between the two guilds, this Imp Pub Guild and this Pub Guild, and that they've on like a 3-week peace accord or something. And people started typing to me in guild chat, and it took me about 20 minutes to realize that they were talking to me because I don't read chat. And then they're like, dude, are you killing them? Are you killing them? I was like, oh yeah, I see them all over the place out here. We're slaughtering them. It's great. No, you're not supposed to. I was like, oh. Well, don't worry, I only have to kill 8 more for my achievement. So, yeah, oops. But I totally got my achievement. I wasn't going to stop. And I told them that. I was like, listen, I appreciate your peace treaty, but this event's only here for so long, and I need to get my achievements done. Other than that, yeah, I was doing a lot of PvP. Actually, I've been really pleased. A lot of those achievements for, like, do such and such in 50 separate matches, I had, like, 4 or 5 of those achievements popping up this week, and those are, like, 50 points each, which was awesome. And I finally got, play 10,000 of any game type PvP match or whatever, one of the general ones that got me 100 achievement points. So that was awesome. For the Gree, I definitely wanted to. I think I mentioned last week I wanted to get all the world bosses. You have to kill both of the world bosses 10 times, and I'd only killed each of them once previously. I didn't finish because I decided to hop onto the public test server, which I'll be talking about later. But yeah, I took almost an entire day on the public test server, which I did actually kill the worm 10 times, but I still have to kill the Wampa 2 more times. Which, okay. I actually only have 2 achievements left. I also didn't kill 1,000 droids. I started out having to kill something like 700 of them still. And while I was trying to do that, I was literally falling asleep at my keyboard. And in fact, the reason I finished the worm was because I was about to log off. I was like, man, I just can't stay awake. This is killing me. And then somebody says, hey, we're doing a world boss. I was like, okay, I'll perk up for this and go. And I finished that achievement. So I was glad that I did it long enough to finish the worm.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going to ask. So it turns out I was listening to Bad Feeling Podcast. And apparently for their Freaky Friday, they started on Jedi Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, and I think I mentioned last week, I've got a tune that I didn't know about that is on Jedi Covenant. And then I started on Twitter just tweeting all over the place. And it turns out there's a whole bunch of podcasters on Jedi Covenant. So I was thinking for Freaky Friday, maybe Tio and Chill need to do some leveling on Jedi Covenant. And then we can have a full-on freaking podcast ops group.
Not a bad idea. I mean, we could always apply to join AIE, given that they're there. So.
It'd be kind of crazy cool to do a community operation.
It would. That would be crazy. And a lot of fun. Yeah.
Because so many of us have never played together. And I think it would be really neat.
It's a great idea.
And beyond that, if anybody listens to Unnamed Sorter Podcast, or if you don't, I would totally recommend it. Some crazy individual hacked his feed and put out a sound file, and it's really worth a listen.
Indeed. It was one of the best episodes of the Unnamed Sorter Podcast, gotta say.
I agree. When it started, I was like, that voice doesn't sound right. That's really weird.
Just some kind of distortion.
Sounds like someone else I know.
Awesome. All right. Tio, how about your week?
Let's start with raiding. We did our 2 days, 8-man on day 1. Now, we were without Moss because he had a storm out his way. And so Ari joined us on her Sage. Mm-hmm. And we one-shot Nightmare Nephra, which... we've done quite a few times now. That's easy enough. And because we're going to do hard mode Dread Fortress with the 16-man, we switched over to hard mode Dread Palace. We took down Bestia on the 3rd attempt, so third attempt,
Nice.
and that was roughly our third kill. And then we took down Tyrants. It only took us 3 to 4 goes for the first time, and then we ran out of time. So that was really good. And that fight with Tyrants, that's the one with the floor with the disappearing tiles. That is probably
Right.
going to be my favorite fight still in hard mode. So that was just a lot of fun. So once we
Yeah.
got the hang of it, it was fine.
Felt good getting new stuff down.
Absolutely. And then on day 2, which is our 16-man, we just did the usual 3 of 5 in hard mode Dread Fortress. We did do Zeno, since the Gree were back last week. On 16-man story mode and hard mode, it was easy enough. So we were mainly doing it for Grey Helix components, and then we did hard mode Tabaro's Courtyard. So yeah, another solid run.
Yeah, and I was actually able to get a group of for an 8-man hard mode. That was one achievement I hadn't done. You know how hard it is to get 8 people together to do hard mode Xeno when the rewards are cut in half for everybody individually?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Does make sense, does it? So
Yeah.
16-man all the way. Other than that, I did do the Gree dailies a couple of times, a few hard mode flashpoints, but I did spend a lot of time on the PTS, mainly working through the crafting, which we'll talk about later, and doing the Manan flashpoint, etc. So again, we'll talk about that. Other than that, that's my week.
All right. As far as my week went, first let's give a shout out to the chat room. Lots of folks on tonight. Alley Cat, Colorado J, Darth Pops and D Spoons are both here. Descartes, Diggity82, Devore, Jace, Mark _Swotor, Nepthan, Palais, Reina, Reese, Scordia, Caranome, okay. Afax42, guessing at pronunciations, of course. Bill _L, Beware2, Caligari, Eric Z, Ferris Terran, Jawkins, Marvin Helm, a couple of what I think are random names. Slager, Secordia, that one just went down to the bottom. Storm JP, Sotor Miner, and Zook are all here. So hi everyone. And yeah, let's see, my week. This is going to sound familiar, and it's going to sound familiar for a while now. I had lots of overtime at work. I had a full day on Saturday required, and then I had to put in like a total of like 8 hours over the course of 2 weeks. So lots of overtime at work, and I've been very sort of tired, didn't get much game time in, and it's been known now that it's going to continue for a while. So yeah, I'll squeeze in the game time when I can. I did work on my Sorcerer PvP, and got a couple new pieces of gear, which was nice, and blew a couple 100,000 more credits in the casino. No Rancor, of course. Did get a second Black Speeder, so there's that. And that's about all I got done other than the operations, which was actually kind of the highlight of my week. So yeah. Off we go then to the tip of the week. And Tio, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
First tip is from our guildmate Khans. My tip of the week comes from the Operation Dread Fortress. After the first boss is downed, there is a maze section which needs to be navigated to get to Gate Commander Draxus. And wasn't that fun the first time we did it?
Mm-hmm.
We've got it down pat now, doing it the proper way. And Khans goes on, Dolphy has a fantastic guide on how to do it properly that can be found here. And it really is easy once you know it. I'll link that. However, if you wants to be a tricksy smuggler, there is a much easier way to do it. Now, I'm going to put Khan's explanation into the show notes just for future reference, but what he says, of the first 4 crystals, have all 4 people click the same crystal on the left-hand side. You don't have to click 4 different crystals at this first set. When the gate opens, the rest of the operation group take that left-hand path only and clear the mobs as you go. Now, if you're a 16-man operation, then you have heaps of players to get to the gate commander's room. You only need 4 people to clear the 4 crystals in his room. In 8-man, it might pay to extricate the person channeling the middle crystal gate, so you have at least 4 with you when you get to the inner chamber. When you get there, click on the 4 different crystals and all gates will open. Then the 4 people that channeled in the first room can all go left as well to meet you up for the boss fight. And he actually demonstrated this for us when we were doing the 16-man on our day 2, and yeah, it worked exactly that way. So it's kind of impressive, actually. We all went left and done. So easy peasy, as he says. Okay, sure.
All right, sorry. Did I mention I'm tired? All right, second tip. From Dekayon. Want a free tauntaun? With a little time and a lot of running back and forth, one could be yours. My tip of the week is about an efficient way to earn a tauntaun on Hoth. Fiona and I needed a tauntaun on a new Jedi, so I thought I'd share. Once you purchase the tauntaun lures, find a nest and attract a tauntaun, then switch Hoth instances via the map and try again. After that, do the same thing with as many alts as you have, since it works with both factions. I was able to get 20 tauntaun domestication datas with about 1.5 hours of in-game time using this method. So,
Okay.
Switching and then just using alts, basically.
Been a while since we've gone after those, given that it's been in the game for a while, but it is still there. If you want to get yourself a tauntaun mount, you can still do it, and that is a good trick. Last tip, number 3, is from Nepthan of the Old Republic Dads Guild on the Shadowlands. In lieu of the upcoming crafting with 2.9, remember, companion missions refresh after a load screen or a mission completes. Use that to your advantage, and you'll always have your companions out on the best missions each time. Before landing on a planet or fleet, send them on the rich and bountiful missions first, then the lousy ones. After landing on the planet, cancel the lousy ones and see if more rich/bountiful missions appeared. If you're only using your character for missions, keep landing on and reboarding your ship from Tython and Korriban, which seems to have the quickest load time. Now, I've done that for sure, usually using the fleet, just between my ship and the fleet, because the fleet seems to load pretty quick, but definitely worth doing, because every time you zone, you get a fresh set of missions, and if you do it enough times, you will get the best ones.
Yes, you will. Yeah, Tython and Korriban do have quick load times. Another option is you could, some of those individual class places you can actually go to, even if you're not, currently needing to go there. And because they're very, very small, capital ships or whatever, sometimes those are pretty quick to load too.
Right.
All right, by a random allotment, the winner is Nepthan. So congratulations, Nepthan. You've won an M8R3 pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and a Cartel Market Pack from the latest shipment, courtesy of this podcast. If you have a tip of the week, please send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Wednesday for a chance to win the same. And that will bring us to the holofeed. Tio?
Well, obviously the big news is, of course, Game Update 2.9 appeared on the PTS. Now, this was announced during Thursday's live stream with Eric Musco and Courtney Wood. They basically kicked it off and saying the PTS is coming up on Friday, and apparently it all happened. They were posts appeared in the forums that Tay Watson put up, and yeah, we've got an absolute ton of information. And so please update your PTS client if you've got it, or download it and get on there. Now, I was able to actually get there on my preferred account, oddly enough, because I know you're not supposed to be able to, but I did, just to try it out to see if it would work, and I unlocked myself a stronghold, which I shouldn't have been able to do. But anyway, whatever. Most of the time it was on my actual subscriber account, so that was fine. Let's just go through. The whole lot of posts appeared that gave us some new information. Now, for example, there was stuff about the feedback. As you give us feedback and we move towards the release of 2.9, which is still on 19 August, don't be alarmed if you don't see some feedback from PTS Incorporated right away. We're going to take your feedback and have it shape not only subscriber early access in 2.9, but it will help us plan for 2.10, the expansion, and beyond. So clearly the whole Strongholds thing will continue to evolve beyond what is currently on the PTS, and there are a few rather nasty bugs which hopefully they will fix.
Yeah.
Now, they went ahead and laid out what's going to be happening for the rest of the year, and this was to address the fact that there are effectively no class changes coming in 2.9. And there are a few reasons for this, and basically, they are Game Update 2.9 is a large digital expansion that brings you loads of new features, like strongholds, and to mess around with. With so much going on in the update, they knew they could get very little testing done on the class changes, so they have left them until Game Update 2.10. Now, what's really odd is that 2.10 is only 3 weeks later. It will be coming on September 9th. So 19 August, 2.9, 3 weeks later, which would normally be the next minor update, they're going to drop 2.10 on us. And that's where the few remaining class changes will be. But yeah, everything else is going to be in the expansion, and that will be the next update. So we are getting 2.10. It will be 3 weeks after 2.9. Now, as far as when the expansion is going to be, clearly they're not telling us yet. Now, you could say that given there's usually 9 weeks per update, and we're getting this update 3 weeks into 2.9, that they've got 6 weeks plus full 9 weeks, maybe up to 15 weeks until we get the expansion after 2.10.
Yeah, like 3 months.
Which would be basically 23 December. So
wow,
your guess is as good as ours as far as when the expansion will drop. They keep saying it'll be this year, and I'm sure they're targeting a date, I would guess late November.
So here's the real question, because they had originally told us, like, okay, everything that's in 2.9 was originally meant, well, except for Manon, was supposed to be in 2.8. So is the only content originally scheduled for 2.9 going to be Manon? And then I'm wondering what content we were never told about, and we just all we see now is content that's been pushed back, except for the 2 chapters leading into the expansion.
Well, there is a 3rd chapter. Remember, it is 3 chapters. So just thinking about this yesterday, are we going to get the 3rd chapter of Forge Alliances and presumably yet another tactical flashpoint in 2.10 3 weeks later? But Red,
that's what I'm wondering. I'm curious if they might even have a 2.11 coming.
They are implying not. In fact, they're saying it explicitly.
They are, okay.
Yeah. And they're just saying they're giving themselves headroom to sort out the expansion. And that's why there aren't going to be any more detailed class changes, because they're giving us 5 more levels, taking us to level 60.
Right. They're going to have to change everything anyway, so any further changes are a little pointless.
Exactly.
So end of November would still be 12 weeks, which would be far outside of the cadence that they've been shooting for.
But they're telling us, they're saying
I know
they want to give themselves breathing room.
Yeah, another excuse and delay.
Well, yeah, it's fairly typical for an MMO.
I don't know.
They want to give themselves a lot of time before the expansion, that's all.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally accept that. But it was, when they told us about the new cadence and that they were going to do this, and this, and then everybody's comment was, all right, now let's see if they can stay up to it. They did it for 3, and then they extended it a little bit more. And then now they've been delaying, and now they're going to have a large gap beyond even their extended cadence.
Well, let's just analyze that exactly. They said the delayed strongholds, which I thought was going to be originally 2.7, or maybe it was 2.8. Okay. It was a while, because they were going to deliver strongholds then, and then all the guild stuff and etc. in this one, 2.9. Instead, we're getting everything in 2.9. Everything. So nothing's being delayed beyond that. In fact, everything that they said would be in 2.9 is, as far as we know. And then delivering that last chapter of Forge Alliances in 2.10 is actually a lot earlier than we would have otherwise expected. They could have left that for 9 weeks. What's going to be in between 2.10 and the expansion? Who knows? But, yeah, and how long to wait? Yeah. I think it's a special case. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a pattern.
Well, it just seems to progressively be getting worse throughout the entire year.
All right, well, we'll see. That expansion may just blow us away with the volume of content. I'm hoping it'll blow us away with the volume.
Right, and that being said, I've been totally ecstatic about the increased cadence of class balance changes, and so I'm okay with them delaying that as long as 2.10 comes immediate, as quickly after as it is. I would, but it's I feel like I'm in the same situation where I'm really glad they've started this, they've done a great job with it. I hope that this continues after the expansion,
Roger.
But, it's like, once again, I'm in a position where let's see what happens after the expansion.
Okay. And we will revisit that after the expansion. We'll
Yep.
see what happens. Let's hope it doesn't stretch out to 10 weeks or something. But having said that,
No.
all right. And also, let's see, next week, as in like tomorrow or the next day, the PTS will be updated with the remainder of the functionality, which will be guild flagships, guild conquests, personal conquests. What the hell is that? I don't recall ever seeing any mention of that previously.
Right, that's new.
And conquest boards, yeah.
Well, they
And
had
then went
mentioned
on-
before that you would be able to contribute to the planet conquering as both an individual outside of a guild and in a guild. So presumably the personal conquests are that individual aspect.
There was always it doesn't matter. We'll find out, no doubt. To get ready for it, to purchase a guild flagship, you'll need a guild bank, and 50 million credits. 50 million credits. And that obviously got a lot of people excited.
Yeah,
And-
that's so much cheaper than I expected.
All
That's
right,
awesome.
so Neptune,
It's
who
cheaper than you
was our winner
expected,
this
really?
week, said, or asked us, will we discuss a price tag of 50 million for a ship and whether it's fair or not? For the record, Neptune thinks it's fair, but then again, his guild is rich, and they prepared for it or started preparing for it 3 months ago. Now, my response to that was, even for those who can't afford it, having aspirational goals for a guild is a good thing. And then he said that's pretty much where he stands. He's always believed if you were in a guild in order to work together for common goals.
Right.
So,
Well, and on top of that, we also know that expanding and fully teching out your guild starship, whatever it's called, it's more than credits too. I mean, it's 50 million to purchase it, but to expand, you need to involve. There's crafting and different things, the conquesting and whatnot. This is meant to be a project for the entire guild to work at and contribute to. So, I mean, honestly, as a purchase price, legitimately, I think that's cheap. I think that's tremendously cheap. And okay, yeah, there might be a 5-man guild out there, but that's not a guild. That's a group of friends. A guild is, I mean, it's easy enough to have 20 people contribute 5 million credits each. And yeah, I know there's a lot of people that will say, "Oh, I don't have 5 million." Yeah, but I also know plenty of people that have 20 million of their own. I don't, but I certainly have over 5 million.
Yeah. Well, that's always going to be a tricky balance when there's such a huge discrepancy between sizes of guilds. I mean, there's plenty of almost max size guilds out there, and then there's tons and tons of little bitty guilds. So, where are they going to set it? At least at 50 million, it's definitely going to be a feather in the cap of the guild because hey, we're big enough or we put enough effort into it that we've got the ship. So.
Well, and it's a little early to mention this, but this was one of the early questions that came up at the cantina too. They were asking how they justify the 50 million credits, and they had a good response. They basically said, it's an ultimate statement of power, and it should be kind of hard to get. But looking at the metrics and how many credits guilds have, they basically said they're happy with how many people could get it out the gate, and it'd be work for the rest of them. So I like that response. I'm okay with the 50 million. I'm not part of a guild that's that big, but I'm looking to.
Yeah.
any other comments? Yeah. Basically, for a smaller guild, it'll obviously be a problem, but it'll just take longer. So,
Well, the smaller guild just needs to recruit Bill. In
Or
fact,
a
he can
Bill.
jump from guild to guild and probably buy 4 or 5 starships. So
That's probably true too.
Dropping guild starships behind him like breadcrumbs.
breadcrumbs, right?
Even a small guild can do dailies for a few weeks and get the money fairly quickly. I mean, you can make kind of a lot of money doing dailies every day. It's not exciting, but you can still do it.
It's also interesting to wonder how much credits the actual conquests themselves will return. Maybe that will be a source of income as well. All right, so
The other thing to remember too is with the changes that we'll be talking about shortly, but I think there's going to be actually a huge opportunity for people to make money at minimal effort from crafting again for the first time in a long time. Aside from that stuff that we've learned about from Bill previously, if you just want to log in, craft a few things, and log out, I think you're going to actually be able to generate income because there's going to be a lot of people spending a lot of credits on the GTN.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. This will be a massive credit sink for all kinds of reasons. So
Yeah.
All right, so there is a post with a bunch of known issues, which I'll link to. It is worth checking through that first before you report any bugs if you're on the PTS. Yeah, there's some nasty ones, actually. Like if you deploy a companion as a decoration, none of your other characters can decorate. I actually encountered that before I checked through the list, so it was a bit disturbing. But anyway, the list is there. The patch notes, of course. Let's start with just some... Aside from the Stronghold stuff, there is something about a GSI satellite support service being added to McKeb. This is the first hint we've had of this. What it will do is bolster everyone's gear when they're on the McKeb to 156 rating, which is basically level 66 mods, if you remember that. If you're in combat, you're going to be given something that will heal you for 2% of your health every 3 seconds while you're in combat, no matter where you are.
Nice.
A 250% boost to exploration experience.
Right.
So that's nice, but it's just exploration. And apparently pets now occasionally make noises. That's unrelated to McKeb, but go through that.
I like that one, though.
That's kind of cute. So anyway, it looks like they are making McKeb easier and to presumably ease people through it, because it is a bit rough at first, but
yeah, especially if you're like power leveling a character and you got like level 47, 48 gear, and or even worse.
One would expect, actually, because we do expect the second expansion to be paid, right?
We do.
Since
You
we're
expect
that. Yeah. So the other thing that they might be trying to do is make it easier for non-subs that don't get the XP bonus to actually get to level capped before the expansion comes out.
Could be.
Make it a smoother transition to get them ready for that expansion and encourage them to actually put some money down to get the expansion as soon as it comes out, rather than waiting the 6 months or whatever for it to unlock for them.
All right. Now, other than that, we obviously have Galactic Strongholds. We'll go through a few things. Obviously, we've covered it fairly extensively, so stuff we've already talked about, we won't reiterate. Though we do now have a whole lot more details, and besides Chill, we've all now got direct experience of doing it ourselves. Though, before we talk about Strongholds, let's talk about Manan, the second episode, or chapter, of the Forged Alliance's story arc. You pick it up at the fleet. Fear not, we are not going to spoil anything, though it does lead to the flashpoint, tactical flashpoint, without a hard mode, the depths of Manan. Now, Manan itself there's a lobby, I guess you could say, area, which is on Manan itself, so you can take your personal starship. It's from the central area on your galaxy map. It's over on the right, and you travel there, and it looks a hell of a lot like it did in KOTOR. They have done a fantastic job. That was my first impression when I got there. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. As soon as I zoned in and the splash screen passed, like it actually took my breath away. The most beautiful piece of artwork I've seen yet in the game.
Yep, water is good, and there's some nice water art. No, and it is very much reminiscent of the art style used for Arto City in KOTOR, so that was great. Now, I have done the flashpoint on both the pub and imp side. Two-man the pub side, and then got in a random group for the imp side. If you want to get the other side of the story, you can do it, but it's awfully similar. There is pretty much no variation between the two factions as far as the flashpoint itself goes. The 3 encounters in there are challenging if you want a two-man, but certainly doable. There are these Kolto tanks everywhere, in addition to the Kolto stations that are around the boss fights, so there's plenty of healing.
Well, and there's Kolto tanks all the way through the hallways and stuff too for trash pulls. So if you accidentally pull too many or whatever, there's lots of healing around.
Right, thematically it makes sense because that's one of their main exports is Kolto.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it'll be a trend going forward, but Yeah.
Is there randomness to the encounters like Kuat Drive Yards?
No. It is
And much
just
less trash than Kuat Drive Yards.
It's
Well,
actually
that's
quite
good.
quick to get through too.
Cool.
The fights are a bit long, but yeah,
The cutscenes are pretty long too. There's going to be a lot of spacebar ragers.
there is that. Obviously, everyone was watching it for the first time on the PTS, and so there was no problem there. And
I
there's
actually
a bit of humor in there.
spacebarred through, but that was just because I didn't want to experience the story till I got to the server.
Oh, fair enough. The story does go in an interesting direction, and
Awesome. I can't wait, but I'll probably hold off. Just given my current schedule, I might as well just wait and enjoy it when it pops.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
even pick up
bloody
the
hell.
seed quest.
I just realised Simon was right from the Oceanic Gamer. I'm not going to say what he was right about, but my God, how did you know? Yeah. Anyway.
Well done, RPG.
Yeah. So
There are multiple boss fights for real, with just a small amount of trash between each. I actually thought this was the most elegantly executed of the tactical flashpoints so far.
yeah, I'll give you that.
It still doesn't have a massive replayability, but I think that's primarily because we don't have levels to get anything out of it. So.
Yep.
And I'm glad, again,
Yeah.
this one doesn't have reputation on it either.
There are just those items which drop, which you can then use to purchase some stuff, including that really cool speeder, the submersible speeder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be worth doing. I don't know if I could do it many times. It's certainly a lot quicker than the tacticals in Chapter 1, though I was obviously a bit disappointed. It's just one tactical and the story on either side of it, and that's it. Which is why I'm assuming that we are going to get Chapter 3 in 3 weeks, 3 weeks later.
Would make sense.
2.10.
Yeah.
Which will then lead into the expansion.
I'm curious to see where it finishes going for sure. I'm glad that I didn't do any spoilers about it because and actually the one thing I did want to say is well worth playing because there's a huge awesome part halfway through that I think they executed tremendously well. It was really neat.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. All right, let's just touch on a few other things and just talk about it. Anything else that we picked up? There's a new log screen. They've just basically redesigned it. The mission, there are tabs for like mission and codex and lockouts and stuff that are there right now, but they're at the bottom and they're a bit faint and hard to see. They've just flipped it around so the tabs are on the top, which actually makes a lot more sense. So it's just a cosmetic change, but it's pretty good. Quick travel to the strongholds is exactly as we anticipated, no cooldown, so you really can bounce out to it and bounce back as often as you like. Dolphy has, of course, to the surprise of no one, extensive guides on everything. They have also started a new site called tor-decorating.com. Now that is in addition to the site that Swotorista has, that she has set up. It's called swotorstrongholds.com. I did an interview with her yesterday, in fact, and that will be published as episode 157 US Monday next week. So you can hear all about that. Her site has a different slant to it, but Tor
I rather
Decorating
like
is
her
more
site
just
a lot, actually.
right. So yeah, Tor Decorating is similar to Tor Fashion. I don't know if Exile is involved with Tor Decorating, but I'm getting the feeling maybe. Yeah, but list for all the decorations. And there are a lot, in fact. A lot.
Yes.
It's not entirely intuitive where all of them are.
It isn't. But if you want that full list, go to Dolphy, of course. And one thing that surprised me as far as the pricing goes, most things are actually purchasable. Very few are purchasable with credits. Most things are purchasable with the craftable prefabs, which are basically your currency for almost everything as far as purchasable item goes, including all the utility stuff like mailboxes and guild banks. So, actually, let's talk about that. This is where I did my spreadsheet, and others have as well. There's also a post on Dolphy about it. In terms of how the crafting works, Seema of the SWOTOR Escape podcast covered this in their last episode, and in great detail. So I'll just touch on how it all works briefly. There are effectively 4 types of currency. They're called in industrial prefabs, MK1, MK2, and MK3. And these are made up of, you can actually craft one of these. Oh, hell, sorry, I'm screwing this up. Let me start that again. There are a universal currency called universal prefabs, Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3. To make one of these, you need 4 of craftable items: fabricated crystals, fabricated designs, synthetic prefabs, industrial designs. So to make of each MK level. So to make universal prefab MK1, you need the crystal design, the synthetic and industrial prefabs MK1. Ditto for MK2 and MK3. And however, all of the things, the universal prefabs as well as the fabricated crystal, fabricated design, synthetic prefab, industrial prefab are also currency in their own right. So some things you can buy with the universal, some things with those individual ones.
Okay.
Now, these are created, the individual ones are created by all of the crafting professions in effect. Fabricated crystals can be made by everyone, though the mats are different. The way they set that one up is Biochem and Synth can make them with green color crystals. Cybertech and Artifice make them from blue color crystals, and Armor Mech and Armstech make them from red color crystals. And these are from color crystals from rank 2 through all the way to 6 and then 9. So if you're anything like me, you've probably got a lot of color crystals.
Pack rat in the way.
Right.
Exactly, because they're useless, completely useless. And in addition, the fabricated crystals are made from blue sliced tech parts, which again are pretty much useless for everything. And because we send our guys out on slicing missions to get the purple ones to craft the augments, we've got a lot of the blue ones.
Right.
In fact, I had so many I've been tempted to vendor them. So, yeah, that's what's used for those. Yep. And the pattern
Tied us
continues.
with the legacy bank, and thank God.
Yes.
And a lot of those silks and stuff that go usually vendored a lot of times will now have a better use as well.
Those are used for fabricator design Mark 2 through 1, 2, and 3. They are, everyone can create them, and they are made from luxury fabrics from underworld trading. Yep. So again, useless for pretty much everything else. Now they have a use. The industrial prefabs, MK1, MK2, MK3. Now, they are only able to be made by Armstech, Cybertech, and Armor Mech. That's the industrial, is only those 3. And they use up those research compounds, which are basically useless for anything except barrels, basically. And if you're Armstech, and for the Cybertech and Armor Mech, they use underworld trading metals. Again, the lower level metals. Right. So if you've got a choice and you have an Armstech, I certainly use Armstech for that. Some use out of those investigation missions.
Especially if you've got a smuggler Armstech.
Mm-hmm. Who's got the crit.
Right, now, none of these are equipable items, so when you crit, you get more.
And yes, so the crit bonus you will apply, and I did crit a few times when I was making these on the PTS. Synthetic prefab, MK1, MK2, MK3, they're makeable by Biochem, Synth Weaving, and Artifice. Again, using mats that you a little bit rare, harder to come by. Medical supplies, the lower level ones obviously will probably be quite common, and the lower level gemstones maybe not so much because they're used for enhancements, but yeah. Anyway, and all of those put together make universal prefabs. So, and these are your general currency. So again, the general trend has been to pick up a whole lot of crafting mats that you otherwise wouldn't use, which is nice. But there's now suddenly a market for color crystals. If you check your GTN, you'll probably find that levels 2 on up are now a lot more expensive than they were a few days ago.
Right.
Alright, now the other type of crafting mat that was added, now all the patterns for these are just learned from your trainer, that was all the 6 crafting professions, are the things that are going to be used for planetary conquest. So we don't know how that works yet because they haven't told us, but the 2 things that are makeable are, well actually no, there's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 different things called war supplies, and they are makeable by the different crafting professions, each using their primary mat. So, for example, infantry supply kits are made by Biochem using bioanalysis mats. The starship weapons, Cybertech using scavenging mats. Armored vehicles by Cybertech, ArmorMech, and Armstech using scavenging mats as well. Holocron of strategy, synth weaving using archaeology mats, and crystal capacitors they're made by synth weaving and artifice using archaeology mats. Power crystals, in that case, artifact fragments for the holocrons of strategy. Again, they are spread out across the board using low-level mats all the way, in some cases level 1, mostly 2 all the way through 6 and then 9. And they all make the same level of war supply. So this is just a way to more or less clean up your cargo hold to generate these war supplies.
Nice.
Which are then used to make something that all the crafters can make called War Supplies Invasion Force, which in turn is another component for something called Dark Project MK1s, which
So it
also
sounds like-
requires a bunch of raid drops.
It sounds like basically when this patch drops, you'll want to go to your crew skill trainer and just learn all these
Yep.
from your trainer.
Okay. All 6 crafting professions. Oh, it is worth noting they have rearranged the crew skills quadrant, so all the crew skill trainers for crafting are in one section at the back, and the ones for the gathering professions are in another one. And yeah, it's really neat now. They're just around the outside. And then in the inner area, where some of the trainers used to be, is now where all the stronghold stuff is, as we talked about last week.
Okay.
So,
Sounds
cool.
nice. Yeah.
All right, let's just blow through the rest quickly. The opening mission for strongholds will give you a set of metal stuff and a legacy storage access point and a mailbox decoration for your stronghold. You can do this on as many characters as you like and get the reward each time, which seems
Nice.
kind of odd to me. I don't know if that was intended or not, but that's the way it works.
And actually, it really helps for some of those achievements. Excuse me. Because it'll be like, get furniture, this many. Well, a lot of those items are furniture, so I was able to get a couple achievements just by running it on a few different characters, which is pretty handy.
Excellent.
Okay. Let's talk about legacy storage. We now know what they're going to cost us. Each bay is 80. You get your first bay of legacy storage for free, and depending on how many characters you do the mission on, you get a legacy access point for that. But then the unlocks were revealed. You can open up to 5. The total cost is 5. The total cost is 50 million credits.
Oh, for all 5.
Yeah, to open all 5.
Is that an increasing value for each?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
5 million, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million for the 4 subsequent bays, or 2,500 cartel coins per bay.
That's why I was saying I got to go back and do some more dailies.
Well, if it's going to be as restrictive as we think it is, and it doesn't sound like there's going to be that much need to put anything more than crafting materials into the legacy bank anyway.
That's true, and I did ask that for the. I'll talk about it later, but yeah, it's fairly restrictive, so we may not need more than 1 bay anyway.
The main usage what I've found so far is for crafting. It really, really is useful to have any shared materials, and we've got a bunch now, like color crystals and the slice tech parts and things like that. Put them all in there. Because, as you know, crafting will first take out of your inventory, then your own cargo bay, and then your legacy storage. And it works great. Exactly as you would
so
expect.
nice.
Yes.
I can't wait for that.
I could tell that Tio beat me onto the test server because I couldn't take his name. But I did. But I did get Road and Chill and Corv and Max and Seema and I got all of the podcasters' names. It was great.
Wonderful. All right. Unlock prices for the strongholds. We also know that now. Dolphy has the list. The purchase price for the one on Drummond Castle and Coruscant is really cheap. Basically 5,000 credits. Or 50 cartel coins.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome.
The full unlock price for both the home planet ones is roughly 1.5 million credits if you want to unlock every single room. So not much at all, or 3,500 Kato coins. Na Shida, looks like we don't know what the purchase price is because we all get it for free.
Right.
At least that's the way it's set up on the PTS now. 6.5 million to unlock it fully, or 6,825 Kato coins. And Tatooine, purchase price is 2.5 million credits, or 2,500 Kato coins.
Wow.
And 7 million credits to fully unlock, or 7,500 Kato coins. Now, Swataristo has a tour video, which I'll link in the show notes and in the interview, where she walks through it. And I purchased the Tatooine Stronghold for our Utini Knights Guild on the PTS.
Cool.
And so let me just walk through that process. You go up to the Stronghold Management window. You must have a guild bank, which was a bit of a unfortunate discovery because it didn't have one at that point. So you buy that for 600,000 credits, at least one base, and all the purchase amount for the Stronghold stuff has to come out of your guild bank. You can't have it from your character.
Okay.
So if you happen to be the guild leader and you are then able to just purchase it, the amount is the same. So I purchased Tatooine for 2.5 million credits. It would have been the same price to buy it for myself. Now, I heard it was more for guilds, but at least at the moment it is not. It is the same.
And it's 5,000 for Coruscant, or
Yeah, I mean it's just the same. So
could you
for
find
a
out
guild,
how much Nar Shaddaa is by doing it that way?
Oh, there you go.
I didn't try.
Excellent.
Seems
That is a
reasonable,
good
though.
point. Yep. Now, once you've set up your stronghold for the guild, it's more or less the same. It has its own window. It's not under your personal. It's just got its own there. It shows headquarters, name of your guild. I didn't actually try and change its label. I should try that. You can then give out, every member of your guild automatically has a bronze key. There's a very simple interface to actually, for every member or member character, changing to a silver key, which will let them invite other people, and a gold key, which will let them decorate. So I just set up a bunch of people with gold keys, and then they were able to decorate. Someone's actually gone to a bit of trouble and laid down a bunch in our Tatooine stronghold so far.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's fun. Now, can you also take away a guild member's bronze key and not let them into the guild stronghold?
Oh,
That's a good question.
no. That is a good question. I don't believe you can. The interface simply allows you to switch between bronze, silver, and gold. So it looks like you can.
When you were putting stuff into the guild stronghold, did it permanently remove it from your own items?
Let's talk about how that works. In your guild bank now, there is a thing there in the bottom left corner which says decoration donation. You have to drag the decoration to donate. Now, it took us a while to play around with it, but it seems that once something is in your own legacy storage, you cannot donate it to the guild. And this also means the pets and speeders, as far as we could tell, as long as if they were in your personal collection, there was no way to place them in your guild stronghold.
So if you've consumed it, you can't donate it.
Correct. You have to actually drag it in and unconsumed, either a decoration or presumably a speeder or pet. We didn't try that. But for the decorations, that's certainly the way you do it.
Right. So you'd have to keep
Fascinating.
an unconsumed one, presumably. Interesting.
Yep.
Is it? I wonder if it's even possible to put like Bound to Legacy stuff in
That's a good question. I would
for like
assume
speeders and
not.
stuff. I guess not, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's other speeders in the game.
Let me see. What did I miss?
It'll be interesting still to try all the different variations on this.
Something Madma at Swator Family pointed out that if you click on a stack of items and they do stack, they're all automatically consumed and put into your own personal storage. So just be careful with that. You can left shift click and drag an item off, like a chair or something, if you just wanted to donate one and then consume the rest, or drag the whole stack over.
When you donate to the guild bank, is that item consumed when it's given to the bank? It is. Okay, so it's not like you can pull it back out later.
Correct. Once it's donated, it is donated forever.
Just give you a big warning when you do this.
Do you wish to donate this decoration to the guild? This will only make this available in guild-owned strongholds and flagships, is the warning.
Very
I
nice.
foresee a lot of chairs in the guild.
Oh, I wonder if it would hit the maximum eventually and would presumably just ignore it, or wouldn't let you. We'll have to try that. Donate a whole lot of chairs up to the limit and see what happens. Interesting. Let's see.
So just as a fun note, there's an achievement for having 50 people in your stronghold at one time. I really need to become friendlier.
All right. One final note as far as decorating goes, I'm definitely in team left click. Now, Chill mentioned last week, Woods asked him about whether right click or left click. Left click for sure. I got used to right click as well, but left click made a hell of a lot more sense to me.
Honestly,
I'm
I
with
thought
you
I was
there.
going to be all about
Left
the
click
right
better.
click and left click. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I got used to it, but I still found myself occasionally not right clicking. Then I'd
Yep.
and I'd be like,
right.
"Oh, damn it, that's right, gotta move."
Fortunately, nothing bad happens. It just you click it a few times and then you realize, oh, other click.
Yeah.
Marshall,
mean,
how much time have you spent on the PTS,
Who?
Marshall?
Oh, me. I got on last night for a little bit, and I wanted to say I bought the Tatooine stronghold because I had to see what it looked like, and that intro cinematic had me. I mean, they're playing Binary Sunset. You can see the two suns. It's
You in Tatooine?
Tatooine. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, they actually had the Binary Suns
the
soundtrack.
John Williams music.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. I was like, I had to, and I just stayed the rest of the night there because I mean, I'm just looking at the suns. I'm standing on the balcony messing with stuff super far away. It was. I like that one a lot. I thought I'd really be into Droman Koss a lot more, and that was cool. I did go there. The rain on the windows, like people
Isn't
have
that
been saying,
awesome?
is phenomenal. It's so cool. And you know, my main is an assassin, and it fits. But Tatooine is just, it's really cool.
That's
Yeah,
The
I
whole
found the same
intro.
thing.
Yeah. The whole intro was just Luke in, to the
Yeah.
beginning of A New Hope. It was just perfect.
That's
Spot on.
literally my favorite part of the movie. So like, I love that.
Yeah,
So I bought it pretty quick.
When I got into Nar Shaddaa and I unlocked everything, the one thing that actually impressed me about Nar Shaddaa, which I think is my second favorite, but Nar Shaddaa has actually two balcony
nice.
locations. You've got the one upstairs, the big one that everybody expects, that's similar to Coruscant and Droman Koss, but then if you unlock all the way down to the bottom and go in there, there's actually, it's like a porch area, but it's all enclosed, and then you've got three different porches that extend out off of it.
Nice.
And it's got a really neat, unique look to it, which is very cool. But I agree with you. I got to Tatooine, and its layout is so distinctive, and it's just so iconic. Like, I was hoping for a moisture farm. I'm much happier with this.
I kind of like the Tatooine, how it's like inside and outside.
Yeah,
That is cool.
and I was surprised to find that the first room when you first unlock it is it's in the cliffside. You actually have to work your way down to unlock the stuff on the ground. So.
And there were these unlocks, which are these really small rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
cool.
may want to definitely look at a guide or watch a video just to make sure that it's worth unlocking some of those rooms, because you may want to just leave those for later, if at all.
Right.
But
And that's the cool thing to remember too, is that with any of these strongholds, there's no set order that you have to proceed in order to unlock rooms. I mean, of course, you have to get through a hallway to get to certain locations or whatever, but you
For the
can
most part,
unlock the rooms that are most
Right.
important to you first.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or if you prefer a certain layout or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That is cool.
All right. That'll do for the PTS coverage. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
I did, just for anybody that hasn't gotten onto the test server yet, one big thing, there's a bunch of little known bugs, but the one that I didn't know about until I read through our own show notes. If you place a companion as a decoration into your stronghold, no other character can modify your stronghold except that character. So like I copied 5 over, and the first thing I did was I wanted to put every one of my companions down, and then got irate because I couldn't modify with any of my other characters for the
Right.
sole purpose of what I was trying to do.
Yep.
So be aware of that. But otherwise, there are some issues, some wonkiness, but it's actually a pretty good beta right now, and I expect it to to improve pretty rapidly.
Agreed. All right. The only other thing in the news that I'm going to mention is that Ranked PvP Season 2 will end with Game Up at 2.9, which is pretty much what they've told us already. And the reward blog is taking a little longer to bake this time around. And so it will actually come out in the next week. And although they're not ready to talk about Season 3, they will say that it will start sometime in the 2.10 timeframe, and it will end with the Rise-like paid expansion. I added the paid expansion at the end of the year. It wouldn't be surprising. So
we're looking at
basically-
3 weeks.
Basically. Yeah.
Good.
As you
Which
would expect.
If it's a full 3 months, that is actually putting the paid expansion in December.
Yep. That's a long time without any new content.
I'm going to be okay if it's an abbreviated season if we get the expansion earlier.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. Anyway, we'll be covering the Community Cantina. Marshall will be talking about that in our Select Digests, but other than that, that's the news.
All right, that'll bring us to the Community Corner. And Teo, you wanted to cover something from Kuze.
Kuze's Jawa Joyride, which he's been organising, will be postponed until the week after Galactic Strongholds is released. And that's more or less for the simple reason that the kind of stuff they're covering is all the old operations with drop all of the new stuff, all the decorations. And so they're going to basically save themselves and then go crazy on the old stuff to start farming decorations. Also have a message from the Utini Templars via Ari. During Aussie Hours, they're going to try to form groups to do older content for achievements and fun, basically during the lull, as we're sort of leading up to the new expansion. The groups, a couple of people have moved on a little bit, and so they're just having trouble organising their full group. So hopefully, if they can build a new group, they'll go back into the hard stuff, but in the meantime, they're just going to do what they can and have a few laughs.
All right.
And finally, our friend Draco is organising another guild lottery. I will link to it in our show notes. This is mainly for our own guildmates to raise funds for that really expensive guild flagship. So basically, as I've said before, Bill is probably going to buy it for us, and he will get to name it.
And we will call him Admiral.
I guess it's worth mentioning we've got a few weeks before this comes out. I know one of the guilds that I'm in, what they've been doing is like the GM or somebody in the guild donated a certain number of packs. And what they did is you use the mail to submit credits to the GM, and then he's stockpiling a list of everybody's names, and I think they chose like 50,000. Every 50,000 is considered a ticket. So if you donate, 500,000, you're going to get,
Right.
what is that?
10 tickets.
10 tickets, yeah. And then there's a raffle at the end to who wins the prizes. But that way, you can get something out of it by donating, and the guild gets a ship by donating. So,
That's awesome.
an interesting idea to incentivize some of your guildies to help you.
Very similar to what Draco dreamed up, so that's good.
Okay. That'll bring us to the Force Feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. And Bill, who we've been mentioning several times due to the massive amounts of credits being tossed around this episode, Bill wrote, getting ready for another several-hour session of hashtag SWOTOR Spreadsheet Club. I do this so you all don't have to. You're welcome.
Thank you, Bill, and we do greatly appreciate it. I'll also mention that all the episodes that Bill has been in, where he talks about his, or gives financial advice, have a tag now on our site, Bill_Lentz, which is his name, in case you did just want to check out prior episodes and get some advice on how to make a lot of credits.
Awesome. All right. Chef Andro wrote, finally got my first tune to 55, and it can't be more exciting.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Nice. Congrats.
And let's see. Oh, I can't read that. There you go. Jason R. via Facebook. I think if you have a section on Manon in the future, it should start off with the Mana Mana song again.
Manamana.
Phenomena.
Oh, Manamana.
Phenomena.
Yeah.
Manamana.
That joke's been going around
There
a few
you go.
podcasts. Yep.
And it's well worth repeating.
It is.
There we go.
It is indeed.
The Phenomena song. I would not have written it that way. It's just in my it's in my head a different way since I was a kid, and I have no idea if my way is right. All right. At Akan Darasum wrote, okay, annoyed to hell. $500 spent on hypercrates and not even one walker. Must stop the madness. Oh no!
$500.
Holy crap bags.
That
That's a
is
lot of money.
crazy, man.
Wowzers.
How rare are those bleeding walkers then? Oh,
I hope he hasn't
Sad
been
luck.
playing the gambling event on Nar Shaddaa. Poor
well, if he
guy.
is, he's,
I mean,
you
that's
know,
just terrible luck. I mean, he
Yeah.
had to have gotten one in there.
Someone should give him a walker just because.
Seriously. He earned it.
Well, you should have a lot of rep with that vendor.
Oh, yeah.
And Jay Connell wrote, at Galdarian, nice job, Swotor. I caught your chemistry Easter egg. Apparently, Colto is caffeine.
Yeah, so
It's a little
Galdarian
picture. Cool,
spotted
isn't it?
this. It's a screensaver in the Manan flashpoint above a couple of hollow terminals. Now, my interpretation is that this is meant to be Colto. It's actually meant to be caffeine, as it is caffeine, the caffeine molecule, and it's just kind of the kind of thing that nerds have as screensavers.
Right.
And as we know, coffee does exist in the SWTOR universe. So
It's
they
called
do have-
CAF.
Calf, yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And a coffee shop is often called a tap calf.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So, nerd screensaver.
Yeah. All right, Graham Sellers. Hi, awesome Sellers here. Just got the Rancor mount from the casino. Only cost $3 million. Sad face. However, it's still very satisfying knowing the guy I play with hasn't got one. Aw. Yes. Well, I'm definitely. I definitely don't have one. That's for sure.
3 more weeks, Jill. 3 more weeks.
You'll
Yeah.
get it, man. You'll get it.
I also have gotten all the achievements on it. Yes. Well, I've gotten all the achievements too, except of course for the one. So I'll be maxing that out, hopefully. That would suck if I actually went like the whole time and just never got one. It could happen. I mean,
could,
I'm already
but-
over halfway. We're already over halfway done. I haven't got one, so all I need is a repeat performance. Yeah.
I'll be happy with my 1.2 mil.
Me
Yeah.
too, actually.
Exactly. If I'd gotten one early on, I'd probably be going for a second one. But I think at this point, I will probably just stop whenever I get the first one and just call it good.
You know, I thought that too, and I haven't been back since I got the Ranker.
I haven't either.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. I mean, it's
It's
very
worse than
inefficient.
grinding droids
Yeah,
at a
'cause
Gree event.
I'm grinding it, and I'm not doing nearly as many like war zones as I would have been, just because I'm grinding them out. And I know you can do them between war zones, but it just doesn't always happen that way.
No, exactly. And once you get those Kingpin tokens, and it's like, well, I got to spend them, and if the cube pops, you're like, I'll just pass it this time.
Yep. Tex, last week's Tip of the Week winner, wrote in, I opened it and got a sweet new mount. Tex never traveled around looking so good. And he opened it up and he got, actually it's very similar to the casino
Yeah.
bonus mounts, the speeders, but it's slightly different. It has some chrome and some nice pipes going down the sides. It's very cool.
Looks pretty cool, yeah.
It's even got foot pad things, like a motorcycle kind of, like well, some motorcycles anyway.
Not enough to convince me to buy a cartel pack, but
That is a pretty cool one. The black one from the casino is somewhat similar to that, and it's also very nice looking. All right, Nathaniel Starr wrote, I was hoping you could help expose the issue with hacking in PvP. on the Bidron Colony server, it is ruining PvP. People are using these hacks more and more. I've been pulled through bunkers on Novar Coast, had bombs instantly planted in Voidstar, and had the Hutball taken from me without killing me in Hutball. I know people roll their eyes at the hack accusations, but I wonder if these people are trying to cover up what's really going on. I really hope the devs will do something because PvP is a popular part of this game and it's killing it. If you don't think it happens, then you don't PvP much, at least not on Bidron Colony. There are sites. You probably do not want to read the site names to give people ideas, like Redacted and more. Just do a Google search and I'm sure you can find these programs. There are also dozens of videos on YouTube showing this, and the word is that devs do nothing about it. I've reported people and even recorded video, but nothing happens to them. This is killing a big part of the game. It's really ridiculous, and it's just a big middle finger from the devs reinforcing the idea that they don't care about the game.
I'll delete that last bit, but
Right.
I wonder. I mean, I haven't played a lot of PvP.
Then I can understand.
mm-hmm.
I have not seen this. I'm wondering if it's a server problem.
Just that particular community maybe using these hacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right. All it would take is, one guild where one guy does it and spreads it to all his friends, and they don't say no. They just do it too, and then pretty soon, it would be like every game you're getting that happen.
Way back in the day, I know there was the instant capping on Void Star because people kept figuring ways to jump over the energy screen, but you're supposed to instant die when you're outside of the spawning area right now.
Right.
So it's surprising. Like, I literally haven't seen these problems, and I'm shocked to hear that some of them are even still persisting.
Yeah, I would hope that this is something that they do take seriously. I haven't seen any obvious hacking going on in the war zones I've been doing, but it could be happening. And so sometimes you're losing and you just don't know why, but it's not necessarily a hack. But but it could be.
They're just good players, basically.
Yeah.
But this is going to be far beyond anything like
Yeah,
that.
one would hope that BioWare would legit crack down on them.
All you can do is pass this on to them and see what passes on to BioWare.
Yeah.
All right. Aaron wrote in, I came back from down by 350 points in a Galactic Starfighter match. Won 1,000 to 999.
Damn.
Especially sweet coming back from behind like that.
I hope he's so satisfied.
Yeah. It's hanging on by your fingernails is fun too, but coming from behind is really sweet. Michael wrote, why are we required to purchase the companion customizations on that class for the casino event? I don't have a consular yet. I don't know if you're.
What does he mean about being required?
I don't know if I don't feel required to purchase them, but although if you have my luck, you're going to end up with a ton of those golden certificates. And
well, yeah.
End up buying them.
You might as well buy them.
Exactly.
I guess the only reason you'd be required is because you want to have one of each and never worry about the event in the future.
Right. Michael does continue. Once we've gotten everything from the event, is there anything to use our gold tickets on? Well, I guess if you would send stuff to alts, basically, because it's not like it unlocks it for everyone.
Make sure you got a binder legacy weapon for all the main hand ones that are available.
And 2 blaster pistols. And
Definitely.
2 single-handed lightsabers.
Yeah.
And then, start spreading pets and speeders around all your alts.
Yep. All right. And yes, as far as we know, that there won't be anything else to use the gold tickets on beside the ones that are available right now.
Yep.
And let's see, at Dave O_New Wave O. I have all of my imps on the Bastion and all of my pubs on the Harbinger to accommodate my different playstyles. So let's say I paid to max out the Nar Shaddaa Stronghold on my imps, and then unlocked all of the Tatooine Stronghold on my pubs. If I then transferred a tune from the Harbinger to the Bastion using my free transfer, and he has unlocked Tatooine, would he bring the Tatooine Stronghold with him? I believe the answer is yes. I think so too, right, Tio?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I
That's
understand
what they told us. It would all just, the legacy
Yeah.
would merge. Yep.
Right.
All the unlock.
Yeah. This tune would then have access to Tatooine Stronghold and the Nar Shaddaa Stronghold based on Legacy. So, could I then transfer the same tune back to the Harbinger using a paid transfer fee, which I think is 1,800 cartel coins, would he then bring the Nar Shaddaa stronghold with him back from the Bastion? This would save me a lot of credits and cartel coins.
Well, looks like, yeah.
It would work. Yeah. There is. Isn't there an enforced delay in transferring the same character? Like, don't you have to wait a few weeks or something between character transfers for the
Sounds
same
familiar,
character?
I don't know. Could be
Yeah,
30
it's been a
days or
while,
90
but
days.
I believe there is some sort of limit. But it sounds, I believe it could be done. No reason
You
why
can
it
use
couldn't.
another character. It doesn't matter what the character is. They carry the
Exactly.
legacy with them. So
Yeah, if really all you're looking to do is unlock legacy, then you just make a level 1 and move them.
There's a time delay, right? What's the time delay? You can't transfer.
Right. That's what
that's what he's
I
saying.
I don't know what the number is on that, but I'm certain there is one. I just can't remember what it is.
I mean, I would just make a new tune transfer level 1.
Yeah, these are legacy unlocks, so it doesn't have to be your main character or anything.
Yep.
Any character from that legacy.
So level 1 will carry it. Yep.
And it's something you might want to consider anyway, because then all of his achievements points are duplicated on both sides too. So.
True. Right.
Just because I think that.
All right. Mariah wrote, what mount is your favorite, or one that you wish you had? I want the Titan 6 from Nightmare, Scum, and Villainy. It's fun to hear everyone's choices. And let's see, Caligari wrote, I'd really like the Titan 6 one as well, along with the tank one from EC. And Mariah wrote, I won the cool mount off of Kefis Nightmare, with the painted teeth on the front. I love that one. There it is. Yeah, that is a cool one. I like it. Yeah, it's kind of like a World War II fire plane kind of shark mouth, that kind of thing. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool. It's a reskin, but because of the paint job on it, it's really neat.
Yeah. I mentioned my favorite mount when I was interviewing Musco a couple weeks back, and my favorite is the semi-broken mount from the Gree event, with the only difficulty being that it's only a 90% mount, so I can't really use it. But
it is broken down.
Yep. Well, I know there's a legitimate reason for them to start out that way, but I think they should open it up and just make it
fair enough.
Their mount now.
My favorite is, I'm sorry, Jill, the Rancor. It's just awesome. It just
I know. Well, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I got that second black mount, and the machine explodes, and with noise before it actually tells you what you get, I was like, "Ooh, this could be it." No, it's not.
You know what the worst part is? I haven't even consumed my Ranker mount yet. And I don't think I'm going to be able to until the expansion, so that I know how all the classes change and what my main is really going to be. Because, I'm going to ride that thing, but I don't know who my main is
Right.
yet.
Well, that makes sense.
Like, I really want to go back to my gunslinger, but it's not 100% yet. I don't know what they're going to do to him.
All right. Well, that brings us to the Sarlacc Digest, where we go over the issues for 1,000 years, or until we run out of time. And I'm excited to listen to Marshall talk about the Community Cantina in San Diego during Comic-Con. So, Marshall, why don't you take this away for us?
Alrighty. So, this was my third Community Cantina at the Comic-Con. And the first one was in a little tiny room on top of the Hilton gas lamp, and now they're at the Commons Bar. It's a 2-story bar. They give out food and I mean it's a big space.
Nice.
And I feel like there was more people lined up for this one than any other one in the past. I've been to a couple of other ones. This was like my 5th or 6th Cantina. I've been to a couple of other ones, and there's something about Comic-Con that really separates it. I don't know if it's the more cosplay. I don't know if everybody's friendlier because they've been drinking half the day. It's hard to tell, but it was a blast. And one of the things I like about, I mean, if you've never been to a convention like this, you're waiting in line a lot. Right. And the one thing that I do like about it is you get to meet, we call them line friends, people around you. And I met some really cool people online. I wish I could remember the guy wasn't on Twitter. His name was Kevin. And you get to talk to a lot of different people, but this guy, he had a podcast and a website, a fan site, and he never wrote it down, and I thought I did, and I didn't. So
Enmity.
I'm hoping he emails me, so
Pretty
that
sure
I
it was
can.
enmity because it sounded like he was talking about you on his show this week.
Oh, it was him then. Yep, that was it. You're right. Cool. Really cool guys. I met him and his friend Jeff, and there's a lot of people who don't even play the game that are in line. I brought my brother and his friend with me, and they're like, so I got some extra pet codes, I guess. But the events are great. So you have to get there early. I had to get a table so I could set up my laptop, and it was kind of cool. Once Courtney was out there handing out, you get the USB drive, the pet code, and a drink ticket. And they always start with one at this event. The other ones they've done two, but this one gets a little rowdy. But they handed out one drink ticket, and said hi to Courtney, and Bruce was there, but I got a table so I could set up my laptop, and it was kind of cool. I put the flash drive in, and of course, like 5 or 6 people come around. They're like, "Oh, what's on the drive? What's on the drive?" So it was really cool going through all the pictures, and I started tweeting them out. Not all of them, but a few of them. So that was pretty fun.
Were there any cool cosplayers there?
Oh yeah, there was. I'm trying to remember the race now. He was blue skin and all the tentacles, like Twi'lek times 100.
And
he was like, I think it was a Nautilus. Yeah, I mean it was really
I love
cool.
Nautilus. With the big dark eyes usually.
Yeah, that was exactly it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, there was some really cool cosplay this year. Some really cool Jedi. There's always a bunch of Han Solos and that kind of thing. But this place is cool. They actually had microphones this year, so it was 2 levels. There was plenty of room for everyone. Last year the devs were on the stairs when they did the Q&A. This year they were down below. So my hopes of standing underneath Eric Musco and recording the audio wasn't going to happen.
Right.
There was too many people. So I stood up there anyway and tweeted some stuff. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's see. Once I start talking, then I go. Let's see here. Yeah. So then they started the Q&A, and a lot of the same questions as in every event. Cross-server queues came up fairly quickly. I mean, it comes up, and I mean, it came up like 3 different times, but
right.
It made a lot of sense though. They were talking about matchmaking. Someone asked the question about matchmaking. And basically the response was, in a perfect world it'd be a perfect match every time, but and then of course the suggestion of cross-server queues came up again, and of course that would increase the likelihood of better matches or more even matchmaking. Let's see here. Of course someone asked about the Rackville event, which I thought was kind of funny. Musco said, no, it's never coming back. And he even said a couple of minutes later, he was being sarcastic. It's obviously coming back, so we can expect it. They didn't say when, of course.
We should just note that we kind of expect that it could have either turned up this week, which it didn't, or presumably next week.
I was hoping it was.
And then the week after that is banding contract week. So it could overlap with banding contract week, just be a week that we're reckoning probably next week.
I'm hoping it's next week. It'd be nice to have a week to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Someone asked about Cantina music in the Strongholds, which I thought was a really cool idea. It would be nice to play the Cantina music from the movie, but they said maybe. And that was a lot of their answers, as always. I mean, the Q&A overall was fairly short. A lot of the time is spent mingling with the devs themselves, and they do trivia, but I'll get to that in a second. Of course, more class story came up again. Of course, they said no. It's going to be more like a McKeb style,
Yeah, consistent.
Some slight differentiation between the classes, but no actual different class stories.
Exactly. Everybody, of course, wants more class story for their personal story, but it's just not going to happen, I don't think.
Hey, Marshall. Colorado J from the chat room wanted to know if you could elaborate on Muska's definitive no in conjunction with generated war zones by players. Did you hear him say anything else beyond that?
There were a couple questions that were hard to hear. Bruce McLean, for some reason, when he was answering questions, it was nearly impossible to hear him. They said no a lot, but he kind of explained it like, I don't want to say never, but I'm kind of saying never, but I don't know if that's what he was referring to. I did not catch that question, so I apologize for that. I'm just trying to think. I didn't write anything down about that. Let's see. Where am I at? Oh, we already talked about this, the 50 million for credit for guild ships. This was a good question, though. People have been asking quite a bit about armor and weapon closets as decorations. And it's a possibility. I mean, it's like it's answers like that, you know. But I mean, it's a neat idea, I think.
You mean ones that you could open and close, or just because there's actually one in the one that I did. So.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, there was.
I haven't got to play around with it that much.
It got kind of flipped around, so you couldn't see it well. But okay. Yeah. But
I think what they were getting at more was like, if you have unlocked a full set of armor, can you put it up on the wall in some sort of weapon closet of some sort? Okay. And I think these are kind of the ideas that they're pushing for later. So
that's cool. I'm wondering if they could maybe like do a workaround with it, like make sort of a secret companion essentially, because you can set companions up and they will have the armor that you give them. So maybe they could essentially behind the scenes treat a dummy as a companion, and then you put armor on this companion, and then you can place the companion and it acts like a dummy, but it puts the armor up for you.
I think that would work. Yeah? Sounds good to me.
Well, who knows?
I actually asked the question because I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to really see bind on pickup items added to the legacy banks. So I asked the question, and they're basically, it's not going to come with 2.9, but their answer was they're trying to figure out what the implications of that would actually be. Like, I don't know what the big deal is. Maybe you guys can help me with it. But I mean, and crafting aside, I get legacy banks are perfect for that. But I don't know what the big deal of putting bind on pickup if it's just legacy banks.
I would say if it's a bind on pickup shell, you should be able to transfer it through your legacy bank. If it's a token from a boss drop or
like an earpiece or something,
relics, earpieces, implants, those things, I can understand they want you to earn it for yourself. But
okay.
The problem is that people, I mean, they can earn a drop, then put it in legacy gear, and then mail it right across. So for certain pieces you can do it right now. On certain pieces you can't. So they wouldn't exactly be opening up a huge can of worms, just like a half can of worms. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I say just shells. Anything that's a shell, and it can even be populated because you can still use legacy gear to transfer. It's
true. And I was thinking more orange gear and shells anyway.
For legacy bound gears, so that they can literally make their character look however they want, no matter where they've gotten that shell from.
I agree.
But using bind to legacy as a vector to move that stuff is still a credit sink because it costs money to pull the mods out and put them in, and pull them out again. Yeah. Which they would remove.
Let's see. That's pretty much the Q&A from my perspective. It was, like I said, fairly short. They do break it up with trivia, which is always very, very, very difficult questions, and I'm pretty sure it's Courtney that comes up with them. And they're some of them are kind of diabolical. It's really cool, and so like people raise their hands and they'll get part of it, or but they give out good rewards. So the guys who get it, they gave out like an encyclopedia, the SWTOR encyclopedia, T-shirts, hats, and all that kind of stuff. But I appreciate the difficulty of the questions. I wish I could answer some of them, but they're always very challenging. And it was actually kind of funny. I met Tate for the first time. This was his first community cantina, and he was stoked to be there. And he was up there with all the guys at first. And then it was maybe during one of the trivia questions. All of a sudden, he just was standing next to me, and I turned around. I was like, "Oh, what's up?" And so we just started talking. I was like, "Aren't you supposed to be up there?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, they're fine." So he's a really cool guy. I talked to him quite a bit that night. It was really neat. He seemed to be really stoked. He did some dancing. It was pretty cool.
He's really nice.
Yeah, really nice guy. So let's see. And then the Q&A ended. And the devs just kind of grab a drink and hang out, and people kind of swarm them. Bruce seemed to be the most swarmed, so he was kind of hard to get some of the questions that there was one or two questions that were sent to me that I couldn't get him to answer just because he was so bombarded. I did get to ask him one though about. Let's see, did I write the name down? I think, the Sleazy Goon sent a question about making changes to droid armor to be more in line with player gear and possible legacy droid armor. And he said he liked the idea. So I don't know if anything's going to happen anytime soon, but he seemed pretty stoked about it. And I think I said this off air earlier. I walked up to Bruce just as he was saying, I'm not supposed to be saying this, and he was talking about conquests, and it may have been personal conquest, it may have been guild, and it was just the worst moment I could have walked up. And but to make it up, he did hand out like 8 drink tickets to everybody after that, so that was helpful as well. So
probably to help him forget what he just told him.
He's like, wait, I wasn't supposed to say that. Here's some more drink tickets. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But he's a really, really good guy. He was fun to talk to as well. I did ask him about Legacy Datacrons. It's something I've asked. This is the 6th canteen I've asked about it. I don't know what it is about it. I just always ask a dev about it. I don't know how you guys feel about Legacy Datacrons, but that's just something I'd like to see. But
I wouldn't mind it just because I do alts, and it is a bit of a pain because I have to remember to do them on each planet that I go to, or else I will forget what ones I have and what ones I don't. It gets to be a pain in the butt, but yeah.
Yeah. I just got to the point I just don't run after him anymore. I did a lot of them on my main, and that's about it. So I
guess maybe one of the tricky bits is when you made like a new character, then when would you get the benefits of all the Datacrons?
That's a good point.
You'd have to come up with some gating method or something.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't give you plus 50 to all stats straight
right,
up
exactly.
Gate, and then you queue up for Warzones at level 10.
I guess that could be a problem, yeah.
but no, I get it. I get that once you're 55, then you would have done it anyway. So maybe at that point it could unlock. I don't know.
Works for me.
Yep.
Or even just have it tied to chapter ending. You can get them before you finish the chapter for the planets that are involved in it, or just wait and then it unlocks at the end of a chapter.
That'd be cool.
Let's see. So I, and after that I kind of sat down for a little bit and I was talking to Kevin and Jeff for a little while, and then Musco and Tate walked up periodically and we were just chatting about kind of everything.
What do you think of Tate?
Tate's cool. He's a really, really cool guy. He was cracking me up. He's funny. He's just kind of, he just like was there and then he bounded away and then he came back, and he's a really good guy. And Musco I've met a bunch of times, and of course he's always fun. Let's see. I kind of was talking to Musco about future cantinas, which is one of the things I was curious about, and also why they don't let those poor people go to San Diego Comic-Con for more than one day. They literally flew in that morning and were leaving the next morning, and it's like, there's so much to do at something as huge as San Diego Comic-Con. I was kind of feeling bad for him. I was like, hey, do you want to go walk the floor tomorrow or something? He's like, no, I can't. We're leaving in the morning. I was like,
yeah, it's strange because granted it wouldn't be like part of the official, SWTOR or whatever, or BioWare or whatever, but just having them out on the floor, they're going to meet hundreds of people who know and love SWTOR and be happy to talk to them.
And the first year they had a presence on the floor. It was right when the game came out. They had a presence on the floor.
I asked them about that. Yeah, they said basically for new games, and once the new hotness aspect wears off, they don't get to be on the floor anymore.
Yeah, and there really wouldn't be a purpose for them to be on the floor anymore, but at least let them go and enjoy the event would be cool.
Exactly. Doesn't mean they can't walk around the event and wearing a SWTOR shirt or whatever.
Yeah, it's got to help, But he did say that the higher ups in the in EA, I guess, they really, really love the fact that they do these cantinas. So expect them to stay around for a while.
Yeah, because they're doing them and they always draw hundreds of people. And that's at every place they go. So.
Right. And like I said, I mean, I brought people that don't play the game. A bunch of other people brought people that don't play the game. I mean, you offer someone a free drink, and they're at least gonna show up for a little bit.
A free pet code.
Yeah, it's like here's a pet code for a game you don't play. Maybe try it out, and
That's
and
right.
who knows, they might. I asked him about another one at the EA offices, and he said that's a possibility, but they're probably not going to do the one in San Francisco I went to last year at the bar downtown. So the last one I went to was, I think, the Starfighter reveal at the EA offices, and he said that's a possibility. I imagine it would be with another expansion or something like that.
Did they happen to mention anything for the new PAX South in San Antonio, which is only like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from them?
Don't. I think the next one's Germany, I think.
Yeah, in Cologne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and PAX South is until January, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could happen then.
it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did ask Courtney if she was going to Germany, and she said she was very sadly said no.
Oh.
Let's see. I think that's.
I wonder if that means they're bringing Hillary.
They might be, because I know she hasn't gone yet.
Right. Musco goes to almost
Well,
all of them.
This was Tate's first one. They waited quite a while before they let him out.
Right. So I imagine it'll be Musco and Tate.
Although
maybe
he is
that
a
come on.
community person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's on the community team, but he's specific to a couple of things. He helps get documents out onto the web, and then the other big thing that we learned about was he does the bugs. So bug reports, looking at the bug part of the forums, and so on. So in some ways he's a little more specialized than the other community team folk are.
Well, and she's actually supposed to be there interfacing with community.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see her getting in sooner.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, overall, I had a great time, as I always do with these things, and Comic-Con is great. I stuck around for a while. Right towards the end, I did have another event I was going to afterwards, so I stuck around towards the end. And like I said, I had more drink tickets than I could handle, so I started giving those out pretty quick before I got in trouble. But it was fun. I mean, people recognize me. They remember me from Tour Wars and stuff like that, and they they
awesome.
heard me on this cast. And Osa, I met Osa, who's a very, very cool guy. I gave him like 6 drink tickets. I said, you gotta do something with these, man. So we had a drink or two together. He's a cool guy. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Unless you guys have other questions, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything.
How tall was Osa?
He was 4 inches taller than me. I'm about 5'7". He was was taller than me. Most people were taller than me, though, man. I'm pretty short.
Colorado J asked how many people were there.
Actually, there were. I think the line was a couple blocks long, and it filled. I mean, it filled the place up after the Q&A was over, and everybody had their one free drink. It did filter out quite a bit, but I'd say a few hundred at least. It's a big. Like I said, it was a big place. So.
Now, speaking of Osa, he did write an article for us, right? Given his own experience, he was obviously there as well. Marshall, do you want to go through that?
Yeah, let's see. One of the things he mentioned that I wanted to say was that last year, this one and he's right on this. He said it had a feel of what next, and everybody's kind of trying to get them to reveal something. There was a lot of talk, and I overheard it too with the devs, of course, about crossover queues, and he mentions that. Let's see, there was a couple questions he talked to Musco about. Let me see if I can find it. Actually, as far as crossover queues go, he said the short answer is that they know about the demand and understand the necessity for providing a healthy population for both ranked PvE and PvE. If crossover queues are implemented, they'd be for operations, flashpoints, and war zones. So.
Does that mean not for PvP?
They added war zones,
that
but
is
I don't
what
know.
It means it'll be for everything.
If we do it for anybody, we'll do it for everybody.
Correct.
That's what I got from that. Yeah. One thing I didn't mention was the stronghold titles. Somebody asked, why can't we name our stronghold whatever we want? And I thought this was one of the funnier answers. I didn't mention this yet, did I? One of the funnier answers, because they were like, well, it's kind of problematic letting people name something anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and especially if your stronghold is up on the public deal and people are looking at it, and if it was named
Right.
something, inappropriate, I guess that could be a problem. But that was a little side note. Let's see here. Legacy storage. Oh yeah, that was my question. Oh, Eric said there are no plans. Eric said there are no plans for that. It says as in ascend of a companion of an alt who knows slicing your body came on a mission and have the material crafted items show up in legacy storage. Does that make sense?
In other words, can you choose to have rewards go straight to legacy storage instead of to you?
Okay.
Or send out companions that aren't yours on missions.
Oh, I like that
As
idea too.
in your legacy.
Right.
Ah.
That'd be nice.
As opposed to having a mobile app that lets you do it, but you could actually
Exactly.
do it through your legacy for your alts without logging out.
Now that would be cool
That'd
too.
be sweet.
But I mean, I don't see why. I mean, being able to send out any companion from any character would be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously, Eric said there are no plans for that at launch of Game 2.9. But it's a great idea. So they say that a lot. I like the idea. That's about it. And I do agree with Osa that UtiniCast is awesome. That's one of the last things he says. So
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And,
He's actually pretty cool too. I've been doing a lot of PvP with him recently.
Yeah, he mentioned that. He's like, tell Red hi for me. So hi from us.
Rob will be at least semi-happy that it looks like the collector's edition vendor will get a couple of decorations, just like the couple of dies were added.
Oh, cool.
Well, and it does sound like there are still certain things that are not going to be launching with 2.9 that tie directly into GSF. I mean, not GSF, GSH. Which is good. I mean, the biggest thing that I found from the test server was the fact, just tremendously frustrated that the only achievement rewards are flashpoints and operations. Nothing else. No PvP, no GSF, no exploration, no nothing. And all of those achievement rewards are only wall hangings. Nothing that you can put on the floor anywhere. That was really disappointing. Really
That's for
disappointing.
now. That's for now, and that's partly
I
because
still think that's got to change.
It seemed
Yeah.
like a lot of those
Doesn't
were.
sound right.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of those were because it's for killing a certain boss, so they're basically giving you a picture of the boss that you defeated. So I mean, that's what that's about.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you don't get a trophy. It's not even a trophy to put on the wall, like that crate dragon that you'd put up. It's a picture. And the only difference between hard mode and nightmare mode is silver to gold. So
Let's wait and see, but not looking good so far for that.
no, they at the bare minimum give me more pictures for achievements beyond flashpoints and operations. I've literally been trying to build all of my achievements up outside of PvE. Everything outside of flashpoints and operations, and it turns out that's the only thing they're rewarding. So I've been completely wasting my time for the past 6 months.
You're not the only one who's been doing that either, and that's why I'm hoping it changes because, a lot of people have been working on achievements with the same idea, and it's still.
Yeah, I really want my stronghold to represent my achievements in Galactic Starfighter and PvP, where I spend almost all of my time, and I can't do that right now.
All right, let's wrap it up.
One more thing, just about the cantinas in general. If you ever have a chance, definitely go. If anything, just for the free drinks. But it is a great time to go and hang out with the devs, and ask the same questions everybody's asked. I'm joking, but really, it's nice to meet the community. Put a face to a name if someone is in the area that you've been online playing with. It is a really fun time. So definitely check it out if you ever get a chance.
And do we get to see you in Vegas?
I don't know, man. When is that?
November
I'm always looking
7th?
for a chance to go to Vegas.
November 7th. Yeah.
I might be able to make that work.
Cool.
It'd be awesome to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Connell had a response to that article. Shall we do that to you?
Did we already talk about that?
Did I?
I think is that the one he put in chat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, no, this is about dueling.
No. It's the same thing about player-generated content.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I have to check. I did record part of that Q&A, and I need to check. Maybe that question was in that. I didn't get a chance to go through it, and it was very hard to hear. It's very loud.
Right.
So,
It was awesome to hear about, though, Marshall. Thanks.
yeah, thanks for letting me come on and talk about it.
All right, that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our
Ootini, rage!
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then ask for the quiz that lets us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're on @OotiniCast. I Twitter under my own name, @Brandon L. Starr, and Teo uses his name, @Jason Etheridge. Marshall Twitters under @DarthPops. And Red Twitters under @R3DN4, or you can watch him on twitch.tv/R3DN4. Check out our website, OotiniCast.com, which has links to our presence on Google Plus and Facebook. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. We're also on Stitcher and Spreaker. We record the show live every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is from Mevio's Music Alley. Check it out at music.mevio.com. That's MEVIO. And thank you to the chat room, and thank you, Marshall and Red.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll see you next week.
It's a wrap.
All right, keep recording. We'll do the sync thing. Thank you, chat room. It's great to see so many people in today.
Yeah.
Same time next week, and we do have a guest lined up, but we're just finalising that. So anyway, yeah, see you then. Have a good week.